So what do you do when you feel negative energy around you, coming at you from another person or group, um, or just welling up within yourself? There's a number of things, and I've done other videos on them, but there's something I learned called Ho'oponopono, and I might even be saying it wrong. Please forgive me if I am. It comes from the Hawaiian culture, and there's Dr. Lou, oh, I'm going to mess up his name. Dr. Lou, Lew. You can look him up online, and I'll try to find a link if I can and put it in the comments in the bottom. But anyway, he taught with Dr. Vitale, who was in the movie The Secret, and I took that intensive course. Basically, it's a way of setting things to right. And I look at it as a way of making things whole again, like wholeness, right? So I think that, if I'm not mistaken, the word means setting to right, correction, and healing and setting to right. So that's exactly what it is. So, and you may have even heard of Ho'oponopono. But there are 4 phrases, and they are, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. And so the first time I heard about it, I was like, this person's being mean to me, or this happening, there's a conflict and they did this to me. Why am I saying I'm sorry? I'm not so sorry. But the idea is, we are all one in consciousness. We are not separate entities, even though it appears that way. We're on some level, we're all part of the divine. We're all part of the greater picture. You know, all spiritual teachings talk about it, that we are truly one. And so even if somebody else is doing the negative thing, when we take responsibility for the negative energy, it helps the collective, right? It may or may not have any effect on the other person. That's not the point. When you do Ho'oponopono, you are not looking to change another. You are just looking to integrate and take responsibility for the negative energies that are coming up within you. And you start by saying, I'm sorry. Now let's talk a little bit about that, because again, I had a problem with it when I first learned this exercise. And then I came to realize, so somebody has lied to you, right? Or done something like whatever, betrayal, lie, said something mean, whatever. Have you ever lied? Oh, no, you've never lied. Okay. Have you ever called in sick to work and not been sick? Have you ever said, that's a pretty dress? Have you ever said, let me think of another example. I didn't do that, even when you were a kid? Yeah, you get the point. We've all lied. We have all lied. Here's another example. It just popped into my head. Have you ever fudged your taxes just a little bit? Oh, yeah, we've all lied. And if you start getting even more honest with yourself, you'll find that you've stolen somewhere along the line, all the things. Even if you haven't committed a murder per se, right? I've not murdered anybody, thank God. But you could look at it, I bet you I have in a past life. I personally do believe in reincarnation. So maybe I murdered somebody in a past life. Or even you could, look at it like, I have in fact killed bugs. They're beings. I don't know what their consciousness is like, but I'm sure they don't want to get squished, right? So, but I've done it. Now I try and trap and take outside, but I'm still working on cockroaches. God forgive me. Yeah, not a fan of cockroaches. Luckily, I don't have any where I live, but in Florida, they're everywhere. And I used to live in Florida. Oof. big ones, really big ones. Ooh. And you can't catch them. Anyway, I digress. I digress. Cockroaches, forgive me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Anyway, when you get right down to it, and when you're really honest, all the things, I remember soon after, this might be a touchy subject, so forgive me, but right after 9/11, I went on a spiritual retreat, and I recognized that in a small way, no, I've never driven a plane into a building wishing to kill hundreds of thousands or thousands. No, I've never murdered anybody. I've never set out to murder anybody. But in small ways, I've been a terrorist. I've been mean to somebody. I was mean to somebody in high school once. I've been negligent. Here's an example. This is years and years ago. I was driving to my mother's. This still bothers me. I was driving to my mother's. My mom has since passed, but anyway, I was driving to visit her, and there was this older person in the middle of the road, and I had somewhere I needed to be at a certain time, and I was late. No excuse. And I had to go get my mother and take her. Anyway, there was this person on the side of the road waving and clearly wanted me to stop, and I kept going. Yeah, I'm not proud of that moment in my life, but the bottom line is, if you get real honest, we've all done those things. Maybe not that exactly, but something that was human. Let's put it that way, that was human. Okay, so you could think of it from that point. Even if in the instance that you're wanting to heal, this person has lied to you. Maybe you haven't lied in 20 years. I don't know. I kind of bet you lied sooner than 20 years ago, but let's say you haven't. Okay, benefit of the doubt. You've lied at some point in your life, right? You've said a mean thing, not meaning to at some point. You've done whatever. It may be in a different way, but you've done it. And part of what's so important about recognizing that, it's not about blame. It is not about self-recrimination or beating yourself up. It is certainly not about guilt. It is about exactly what I said before, wholeness. Because as long as you disown parts of yourself, the parts that you don't like, none of us like looking at the shadow work, the shadow part of ourselves, none of us. But when you disown those parts, that is part of your power. That is part of your attention. That is part of you that is not in your control anymore because you've disowned it. Even energetically, you look at it this way. Like, let's say there's a little, like, I know secretly that I've lied, right? And I hate that about myself and I push it away. There's a little, even if it's subconsciously, piece of me, part of my attention and energy, keeping that unseen, pushed away, pushed down. I'm keeping it, trying to keep it secret from others. So all that energy is stuck to that, and you're not being honest with yourself, so it can't come back to you in wholeness. So when you take responsibility, it's a healing for you, not in a blaming way. It's not about blame. It is about bringing that part back to you, owning it, recognizing it, loving yourself despite it, with it, along and in it, recognizing you're human. And now all that power and energy comes back into your wholeness and back under your control. When I first started to try and create my reality as I prefer, or, law of attraction kind of thing, it wasn't working too well. I had all these pieces of me being held down and all this attention and power being drained by not recognizing the shadows that I didn't want to see. I'm still working on it. I am a work in progress. I will say that with my dying breath, but I am better. And I have taken a lot more responsibility in seeing all my imperfections, all the shadows, or as many of the shadows as I'm aware of to date. And boy, do I feel more centered, more more compassionate, more loving, more open, bigger, and more powerful, because all of that attention is back in my control. So that's why I recommend this practice, or anything similar to it where you take responsibility for what's within you and being mirrored or projected outside of you. And again, the one thought, like when you're doing this, we're going to do it together once, but when you're doing this, the idea is to cleanse the negative energy, recognize it, bring it back to yourself, not try to push it away, bring it back into yourself, own it, recognizing it, and giving it up to the divine to be cleansed everywhere that it exists, within you, without you, which is all part of the same. So let's do it together. Close your eyes if you wish. Think of a negative person, a negative situation, a negative energy, a negative feeling within you, or something that's happened recently. And while holding that in mind, say to yourself, I am sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. Now, for some energies, it may take a lot more repetitions than just one, but I wanted to give you the idea of what it feels like. Have a wonderful conversation with the divine with this beautiful prayer. May you return to wholeness.